today we're sure, we're not just hopeful, we're sure that we got one of the most prolific resource providers in this community, one of the most diverse people that has my utmost respect. And I just want to say, Victor, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Carl. I really appreciate that. You got me looking around like, am I the guy he's talking about? So I appreciate that, man. I'm excited to be here today.
Well, I'm excited to have you because people need to know who you are and what all you have to offer. Like I said, so many diverse activities. Give me a little bit of an oversight of who Victor is and what he's about.
All right, my name is Victor Bonico Johnson. A lot of people just call me Mr. Victor or Victor, and I'm an author of a book called Proven Pathways to Wealth and Happiness. I'm a speaker, as you mentioned. I'm a TEDx speaker, an award-winning Toastmaster speaker. I'm also a youth mentor. I do work in a bunch of school districts across the state of Texas and Georgia. I also am on several boards. I work at Prosperity Bank as a community outreach coordinator. So I'm out helping people to, especially people of color, to become homeowners or to access the equity that they have in their current home so that they can invest, renovate, do whatever they need to do in their life. And I'm big on just supporting our community, finding resources, whether it be financial, whether it be other people, whether it be systems, tools to help people to level up in life. I'm also a speaker coach, so I help a lot of people with, the speaking careers and getting out there. And I just again love the work that you do, and I just want to be a resource for those that you serve.
Victor, you're already one of my most favorite resource providers. And if you don't mind, I want to delve into the different areas and concerns that you're in. One that we just got through talking about is a gentleman named Mr. Kimbro.
Yes.
And I want you to just tell us a little bit about who he is, what he's done, what he's getting ready to do.
Well, you're referring to Dr. Dennis Kimbro, and he is an educator. He's a New York Times bestseller. He's definitely a speaker and one of the most prolific speakers and experts on leadership, on success, and on wealth, especially in underserved communities. And through my job at Prosperity Bank, we had the opportunity to bring Dr. Kimbro to what we're calling a quarterly conversation. So we've done one in Dallas in the first quarter. We did one in Austin, Texas in the second quarter. We'll be in Houston and then probably in Dallas again. And the whole point of bringing him out is somebody who is recognized internationally for wealth building, success, and leadership, and bringing him to the community and showing through his expertise and through the knowledge that he's encompassed over the years how others can do the same and how communities can build up and how we can tap into the resources to help generations that come behind us to be successful as well.
One of the things I heard about him, and I'm going to ask you if that's really true, is that he interviewed a host of people, particularly entrepreneurs of color,
Yes.
And created a number of books. Is that right?
He has, and he'll tell you that he started interviewing about 250 wealthy African Americans over the course of probably a 30-year window. And he stopped counting. So it's probably more than that. And the whole reason that he is the author of Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. Of course, a lot of people are familiar with Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. And the story goes that Napoleon Hill had started writing a book about wealthy African Americans in the 60s. And he died 100 pages into that book. And it sat on a shelf for 20 years. And the Napoleon Hill Foundation decided, hey, we got to do something with these books. African Americans are starting to emerge in our world financially. We need somebody to get out there and continue this legacy in the book. Dr. Kimbro did a dissertation in college on several wealthy African Americans and caught the attention of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And therefore, they reached out to him, commissioned him to finish the book, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. And that was in 1991, I believe, when it was published. And they gave him no resources other than the 100-page manuscript, and he had to finish it out. And he asked for money. They said, no, get it out there and do your thing. And it became a worldwide, in the top 100 best-selling book for the last 30 years.
Well, I'm gonna segue and move on, but I
Yeah,
do want to mention that he's coming to Houston at Southern,
he is.
and those people that want to go will have to act pretty quick because I understand it's already filling up.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about, since we're talking finance, let's talk about uh, Prosperity Bank. And the reason I say that is Community Care Resource Council is doing a series of events around the city, a 90-mile radius of Dallas and Fort Worth, surrounding uh, home ownership for minorities,
Mhm.
marginalized communities. And the reason I want to know more about it is because the cities that I'm working with, I'm developing a number of cities that want to be premier cities.
Okay.
And one of the things they all want to do is create more homeowners and less apartment dwellers. So tell me about what's going on at Prosperity.
Prosperity Bank, about two, well, say 3 years ago now, in early 2023, late 2022, they realized that Black home ownership is at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to other demographics. I mean, African Americans, the families own 44% of those families roughly own homes. When you look at white Americans, about 70% of them, Hispanics at about 50%. So there was definitely a need to focus in on African Americans and home ownership. We know that home ownership is one of the average ways, or the most common ways for an average person to build wealth generationally, because equity grows over time. Well, the thing is that Prosperity Bank said we can focus on minorities, but we really need to hone in on African Americans. And they built a team, a very small team, which includes myself, a lady named Belinda Everett, who's the NAACP Housing Committee Chair out of Houston, and Natasha Livingston and D'Amica Hobbs, and we all have our own market. And our job is to go out, educate our community. We're all Freddie Mac Credit Smart certified, so we know how to educate people on building their credit scores, how to budget, how to build wealth, that way. And we go out and educate the community for free on how to get through these obstacles. We usually bring a mortgage lender out. We're all NMLS licensed as well, but we don't do the applications. And our focus is really to get out and create more Black homeowners and really putting an emphasis on it. And Prosperity Bank has done a great job as a community bank to say, hey, we see the issue. We want to be a solution for that problem. And better yet, we went out and got people that are already doing this type of education and got them to help with the influence and trying to encourage people to become those homeowners.
Well, at one point, you used to have some sort of a scholarship or something available.
Well, we have a grant program, a home buyer grant program, and what that is money to help people with closing costs. So there's already down payment assistance programs that'll help people with the down payment, but a lot of times people don't realize there's another 4 to 7% of the purchase price that is going to be your closing costs. Those are dollars that just help close the transaction, and that could be several thousands of dollars. And so Prosperity Bank said, in majority minority communities, if you buy a property in that community, we will help you with the closing costs on that property. And of course, you can always use FHA or a VA loan to help you with offsetting the down payment. But that grant program came as a brainchild of our team. We said, look, you really want to help the Black community, we got to help them with some of these resources. And that's one of the ways that they were able to step up.
Well, that means Community Care Resource Council, folks. That means that you got some help, and you need to look up Victor and Prosperity Bank and see what they're going to do.
Yeah,
Victor and I, we've been talking about a series of events around the Dallas Fort Worth area, a 90-mile radius by which we're going to do some events, particularly not just about Prosperity Bank, but financial literacy as a whole.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
Financial literacy is important because if you think about it, literacy is the education of, right? So the education of finance. And in schools, that's not a common thing that's taught, not as far as budgeting, credit building. You learn about economics and the world economics, but sometimes you need somebody to teach you about how to run your personal world in your own household. And I think now there's probably about 17 states in the country that are forcing school districts to teach financial literacy. Texas just became one of those states as of 2025. And it's important because we see that a lot of families, especially in communities that we've grown up in and that we serve, many times home ownership is not one of the things that happens. Or if it does, then the big mama, big daddy die, and then the kids and family members are arguing, trying to figure out who owns what and what their shares are. And then a lot of times that property gets sold for pennies on the dollar just because they need to get some kind of liquidity from the sale of that home. And so again, my job is to help us to figure out how do we take even from our basic jobs, even if we're not making the money we want to make, how do we manage that money better?